So, but Matt, I'm glad we can get to do this, and I've gone over some of the questions and that you put in
Yeah.
the form, and the we should be able to get through it,
Okay.
um, theoretically.
Yeah.
But what I can do is like provide you with any other sort of further resources and
Okay.
bits and bobs. You'll get the recording, and all that sort of stuff. So, like, if you just go top of mind, you've got wall drills, uh, business. Well, there's two and three are both business questions. So
Yeah.
let's look at wall drills to start off with. Like, what go? Just start talking, and I'll pull some
So
bits together.
so the big thing with the wall drills is what I've started. Well, I haven't recently started, but more. I've been thinking about them a lot more in terms of sort of like a tool as a rehab tool. And I've started playing around with them a little bit. Mainly the sort of like, like the double leg to front side and your like
Hmm.
load and smash variation. And I've actually found them like one, they've actually turned out to be a really good sort of like analytical tool because I you pick up the way people move, the way
Yep.
they sort of like so like for instance, one guy I've been seeing for ages, and I just got him to do it on like I was like, oh, let's put this in as part of the warm up type thing. And he's a runner, so like this type of stuff he doesn't do, but he's been getting knee pain on the right side,
Mm.
and I picked up that on that right side, he's not able to like keep that heel down and push through the leg. He kind of like jacks himself up and snaps the knee back. And I was like, oh shit,
Hmm.
if you're doing that every time you land, like it's no wonder your knee's starting to piss you off. So
Yeah.
I've quite enjoyed them. I like them from that. I suppose what I'm maybe looking from you is maybe a bit more of a progressed way of like how you would fit them in and
Mm.
how you then transition them as they get further along the chain. Because I think they quite. I think we had a brief conversation on Instagram about sort of Alan Murdoch's stuff with his like fast to fit stuff, and that's always interested me. But I think this sort of plays into that quite a lot in that like
Mm.
you're getting people to learn the positions that they need to get into really early, so that once they do get there, it kind of all clicks together a lot faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I haven't seen much of Murdoch stuff for a long time. Um, but what I have the some of the initial thoughts and remarks on some of the stuff that you only see from social media is that it's very geeky in the wrong ways.
Okay.
In, just in terms of a big thing of our profession, it's like Western medicine is symptomology, right?
Mm,
So
mm,
we're constantly looking for the symptoms rather than addressing the bigger picture at whole.
yeah.
And so then we wrap fancy terminology around it and it becomes exciting.
Yeah.
And so, I that's why when I sent you our call from the group, I was like, you can sort of judge for yourself where where the sorry, where the emphasis on the performance is. I'm just getting my iPad out for you because what I find is a lot of like rehabby type stuff and return to speed stuff does sit in a really strange place because it's kind of just do regressed versions of things,
Yeah. Yeah.
which doesn't quite work
No.
really. And I always ask if you can ask the question of anyone. It's like if you are you rehabbing something, when was the last time you were injured?
Me.
Yeah, just in general, do you
Yeah.
have experience of actually being injured, or are
Yeah.
you theoretically rehabbing people? Let's just get
Right.
into,
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yep.
based on simple to complex, slow to fast,
Yeah.
just where there's so much more at play.
Yeah.
So when we look at, let's do a quick crash course in wall drills. So when we're looking at classification of speed, we've got our sprinting movement, we've got our SDEs, we've got our SPEs, and our GPEs. General prep, specialized developmental
Yeah.
exercises, right? We have a continuum of specialization, which is what I was teaching you about in terms of when we have an athlete in, and this is all Verkhoshansky stuff. I actually don't really make up anything new. I apply well what's already been done, and that's the secret to success, mate. So, in this stage, when we look at a wall drill with our athlete, so let's call them level 1, level 2, level 3 athletes. So, learning to sprint, training to sprint, sprinting to compete. So,
Yep.
3 speed ages. Sprinting to win can just go over there, but it doesn't really matter for our conversation. So, when we're in this phase, our wall drills become general preparatory exercises for speed.
Okay.
So just like the example that you've worked on with your client there, who's a runner, and the irony is that like a runner can't do a running related exercise,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um, is it tells you everything you need to know, and he's got pain, he's got problems for it. So that becomes a general preparation exercise for the event of middle distance running. I'm assuming it's middle distance
Yeah.
running.
Yeah.
It's so in this stage, what we're trying to do is use that exercise to bring up his level of qualification of the sporting movement. So in rehab, you will qualify an individual for an exercise before it's deemed useful.
Yeah.
Same as like personal trainer, like you wouldn't back squat someone with back pain, would you?
No.
And it's
Yeah.
it's the same way. So you wouldn't sprint a middle distance runner who doesn't possess the physical capacities to produce specific acceleration exercises.
Yep.
So when we blow it up and blow it out, we actually start to see things very differently. So we're reallocating exercises according to their classification at the time
Okay.
because they change. This is the secret. Exercises are just tools and they change. They become developmental stimulus or supporting stimulus.
Yeah.
And that comes from block periodization. So what we fail to sometimes acknowledge is that an exercise um, does this basically it will do this, okay, as a curve. So it'll become incredibly useful here, but incredibly supportive somewhere else, right?
Right. Okay.
So, and that's what this progression line. So a in phase 1, we're looking at a wall drill as a general preparatory exercise, okay,
Yep.
because we're developing all the associated capacities.
Yep.
Okay, and I work through a simple duration continuum. It's in my. Have you got my progressions manual 2.0?
I don't know if we've got the 2.0. I had the initial progressions manual.
The two. I'll give it. I'll give you the. I'll send you the number 2 because
Okay.
it's got the full special strength in there. Because
Okay.
what we're applying it to special strength. So what we're doing is we're looking at something based on dynamic correspondence. Where at the beginning, so we've got the 5 criteria of dynamic correspondence. So for acceleration and creating a special strength exercise or a wall drill as a running derivative,
Yep.
okay, what we're actually manipulating, because we've got the specific ranges of motions, we've got the angles, but what we're manipulating is the rate of force production and the
Yep.
region of force production.
Yep.
So those are the two. So we work on a duration. So as we go through specialization, we start the time where the task is being completed is incredibly high to then, so incredibly long to then incredibly fast.
Right. Okay.
So we will do yielding isometrics, we'll then do overcoming isometrics, we'll then do full range of motion, we will then do resisted full range of motion, we will then do accentuated eccentrics, so
Yep.
rapid lengthening,
Yep.
and then we will do plyometric versions. So we're manipulating the muscle contraction. So from a rehab perspective, can you see how we can
Yeah.
skin a wall drill 5 different ways?
Yeah. 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 So
Yeah.
you would only be getting to the like the switches and that kind of thing way towards the end there, because that's effectively the, is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So we would do, so great question. So this is where drill stacking. So from my book, this is where
Mm.
drill stacking comes into play and learn, load, execute. Right.
Mhm.
So I'm really enjoying this. I've not taught this like this for a long time. Um, so we have our learn, our load, and our execute. And underneath that, this is the power of my system, is that the frameworks sit alongside one another and they interact with one another. Um, so then we create our stacks. So we've got our let's do it this way. I'm doing the diagram in reverse. So we've got our segment, we've got our movement, we've got our pattern, and we've got our skill. Okay. So first and foremost, so our segment could, let's look at the ankle. Okay. The movement associated, let's use your wardrobe example from your client. So the movement associated to that is going to be the flexion extension bias,
Mhm.
okay, of the whole limb. The pattern, okay, is going to be, let's call it the dominant. So I've done this the wrong way around. So the dominant problem that you actually have with that athlete is flexion. The movement associated to it is flexion extension.
Okay.
Because if you can't extend, you can't flex.
Yep.
Can't
Yep.
get there because you can't get out of it.
Yeah.
That's what the brain won't let him get out, won't let him get there, basically. That's the
Right.
neurology. It will go, fuck, we don't do this because something's a problem. He may have had a
Right.
calf injury
Yeah. Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
There could be something dormant in the body. Okay. And then the skill is going to be acceleration. But for argument's sake, just put one foot in front of the fucking other.
Hmm.
So this is how learn, load, execute will sit into it and how you build your stack. So the learn will be an isometric yielding
Yeah.
ankle wall hold, ankle dominant wall hold.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is where if you, Verkhoshansky's classification of plyometrics and plyometric activity and jump activity, we've got knee ankle dominant movements and hip knee dominant movements.
Yeah.
So I just looked at that and go, well, that's acceleration to maximum
Okay.
velocity.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So let's just use that because that makes sense. Someone's already done the work. That's, what I've done is apply this stuff to speed and to team sport speed.
Got you.
Um, so so then we're going to learn. So hold that ankle in
Yeah.
that position that we want it. Then load. What we're going to do, we're either going to do. They can't do it initially on one leg. You're just going to do it on two leg, and you're
Okay.
going to start really long, and you're going to drop into a triple flexion position.
Yeah.
So nice and tall, drop back down. That's where we're loading. Now tell me how we've created load in that situation. Have we added any external resistance?
No.
What have we added?
Well, all you've done is by dropping into that triple flexion, you've just got into the tissues to lengthen and use gravity effectively.
Absolutely. So we're manipulating where the center of mass is.
Ah.
So when we are in a shortened position in a bilateral wall squat, for example, that's the
Yeah.
easiest way to call it.
Yeah.
Lengthen quad, lengthen the calf.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
knee is fighting, the hips are lower. So it
Yeah.
creates a tremendous amount of systemic stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the execution of that, bang, is our flexion extension.
Okay.
So then we just go up and down.
Okay. Cool.
And that becomes the drill stack. That becomes stack one.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And then, so what happens if we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've done that the wrong way around. Idiot. Where's the eraser? Now you're going to see. So when we've got sequential exercise order, okay, we look at something. You may have heard me talk about conjugate sequencing before.
Yeah.
So we have our extensive, we have our intensive, we have our submax, we have our at max, we have our circumax and our supermax intensities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all the way from like non-counter movement jumping to depth jumping.
Okay.
Again, stolen from Verkhoshansky. Okay. But applied because it's how we mitigate stress and how we use said principle to expose the working tissues to the preceding stimulus. So give them what's coming next before they know it. And this is why drill stacking works really well. So what you do is you do it like this: 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6,
Okay.
7. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your execution exercise from your first stack becomes your learn exercise for your second stack.
Yeah. Okay.
Or if you in rehab, you would go 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
You'd create shorter progressions.
Okay. Fine.
But all the time feeding these. You're constantly working through these.
Right.
You're constantly working through your drill stack. So we're focusing on the segmental part, the associated movement, and then the associated pattern to build the skill.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And that will run in conjunction with your return to play phases, return to speed
Mm,
phases, your return to sport phases. Whatever phases that you have already laid out, this will just drop in,
okay.
which is why I always encourage coaches, I'm posting a lot about is that you don't actually need another certification. You just need fucking organization and processes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what you should have is the what we're going through now, your rehab continuum should be a sport continuum, should be a prep continuum. It shouldn't be an isolated thing
No. Yeah.
because you can scale it back and push it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that is why this stuff is so good because you can rehab someone and train a fit person at the same time.
Mm, mm. I
And,
like that.
but it's not shiny enough, mate. It's not shiny. So the, so from a perspective of the application of wall drills there, we are looking in our initial phases, we're just looking at time under tension.
Yeah.
Then we're looking at force expression. Okay. Then we're looking at full range of motion. Okay. Then external load.
Okay.
So we've got 1, 2, 3, fourth phase is when we start to add external load.
Okay. Yeah.
Because when you're rehabbing any form of injury, why is time under tension really important?
Just to give the body time to sort of acclimatize to that or to adapt to that without any therapy.
Yeah, and if it's a muscle tear, for example, what happens? What do we need?
What do you mean? The sort of the
So if we're having like long time under tension, what's going to happen to
oh,
the tissue?
just to reorganize the tissue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And do you know what's fascinating? So, it's an overlooked process inside our profession is that actually like long duration isometrics are
Yeah.
eccentric in nature.
Right. Because I suppose you constantly yielding, aren't you?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay.
So physics tells us something that's really annoying is that even a straight line is not straight.
Right.
a straight line is curved.
Okay.
It's mental.
Okay.
So that's why anything static is always moving.
Right. So it's not actually static. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other one that's like a proper head fuck is that we wouldn't be able to move unless the world didn't rotate
Right.
because
Really?
the ground is moving underneath us, albeit incredibly slow to the
Yeah.
naked eye.
It's still moving.
It's still moving,
Okay.
and that's what gravity is. But
Yeah.
if you flip your understanding of gravity,
Yeah.
then you actually see a lot more about performance
Right. Okay.
because you're always going to come back down to the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's why falling starts are useless because you're already falling.
Right.
Why do you need
Okay.
to speed it up?
Yeah. Fine. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. That does
Yeah,
make sense.
like you'd have seen it with your kids when they're learning to walk. Like they don't need to fall, they don't need to do a falling start to put one foot in front of the other,
No. No.
you
They're
know?
already stumbling into it to get going. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's a
Yeah.
small shift creates if you were to, one day, if I was bored enough, I'd do the maths, but like a 1 degree change in angle of a torso could
Yeah.
equate to like just
Whatever.
stupid
Yeah.
amounts of speed.
That's
But anyway,
interesting.
this
Okay.
is what happens when I don't sleep enough.
Yeah.
But so from like a wall drill 101, does that clear up a lot of stuff for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
In
And,
terms of progression, you would only progress based on what? Do you have definitive criteria, or is it more that until you can see that they've got the movement waxed? So sort of like coach's
mhm,
eye type thing.
mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. So
Cool.
for example, this is how you could so this is our again our learn load execute model.
Yeah.
Um and remember that it works like this. I don't know if you've seen the original diagram anytime recently, but this is ingrained in my head. Okay, so it's cyclic in nature.
Yeah.
So you have learn and load interacting with one another all the time, and load and execute interacting with one another at the time,
Yeah.
and then it all interacting with one another because you've got the mental component of it, and then you've got the macro component of it. Is how we progress it. Okay,
Right.
so bear with me.
Mhm.
So this is where it's really fucking cool. If you wanted to monitor and
Yeah.
how you could monitor, right? Phase one, if we're working towards a 1 step push of acceleration,
Yeah.
the monitoring goal in our execution here is going to be what? What's the key KPI for a 1 step push of acceleration? What we're trying to do?
I suppose to improve that one step push. Is there
Yeah.
something
So what we're doing to the center of mass?
projected forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're trying to push it in the direction we want to go
Yeah.
and create that length. So how would you measure that effectiveness with your eye? What could you use if you've got an athlete in front of you?
Yeah.
What could you use just by looking that could demonstrate whether they're getting better or worse at it?
I don't know. Would it be
The answer is always more simple than you think. You don't have a phone. You're not allowed a phone.
no?
Phones are ruining coaching.
They are. Yeah. Okay. So
Um,
it's just the naked eye. You're looking. You're watching.
yeah, you could have a couple of things in your hands, maybe, or what do you usually coach with?
Would it be with cones?
Yeah, absolutely. So you would put a cone
Yeah.
where they start,
Yeah.
and then you would what leg would tell you how well they're executing this 1 step push. Well, what leg would tell you?
Would it be front leg? So it would be the swing leg, the one coming through, or would it be your?
When I said it, I said this is an awful question because it actually starts as the front leg but ends up as the back leg.
Yes. Okay. Yes. It's the pushing bit. It's
Yeah.
the driving bit. Yeah.
So you're looking, so this is where in track and field you would look at what's known as block clearance.
Okay.
So how
Okay.
far does that trail leg clear
Yeah.
that start line before it moves? So
Okay.
that's going to tell you, that's going to show you, you could look at it and just look
Yeah.
at that front leg, look at it, boom. Does it shift or does it not?
Okay.
Because if it's not moving,
Yeah.
what's not happening?
Well, they're not getting that horizontal projection. They're just going
Ex-
straight. Yeah.
Exactly. And we cue the exercise just to push hard and push long
Okay.
and delay bringing your leg through because then that gives you your monitoring KPI.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And then you work backwards from that. So that's your execute. Your load is actually going to look at movement efficiency,
Hmm. Yep.
and your learn is going to look at tolerance,
Okay. Okay.
especially
Yep.
in rehab.
Yeah.
If they're shaking like a shitting dog, they've
Yeah.
got no tolerance.
Yeah. Fine.
All right. So, and then also what do you think you should do between, so what's another good KPI that would demonstrate transfer between sessions? So they come to session one. What are you looking for when they redo it in session two?
I suppose in session two,
Super simple.
yeah,
That
are
you're
they
doing the same session. You're doing the same session.
exactly the same session? So
Yeah.
you'd expect them to, one, not be shaking as much,
Yeah.
session two, so
Yeah.
they've got more tolerance there.
Yeah. Be
Okay.
better at it and remember it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
you just want them to remember the
Remember.
fucking exercise, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And so when you're doing, because you're trying to move them from cognitive to associative learning.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So session one, because for every level of learn, you have to do it cognitively because you have to teach it.
Yes.
Associative learning is coaching the movement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then executing is instructing the movement.
Right. Okay. Yep.
Okay. So what we're asking them here is from session one to session two. John, do you remember that ankle thing that we did on the wall? Can you just do it for me, please, while I set the cones up?
Okay. So you're not showing, you're just, yeah. Okay.
No.
Fine.
And if he looks at you like you're speaking Spanish, you know you've got a lot of work to do.
Cool. Fine. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And that's the psychology of skill acquisition is more important than the application of what you're doing as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
Okay.
remember, we have to shift the brain.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like literally what we're doing. How I'm questioning you is putting you in learning mode to teaching mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just flip forward and back all the time. And then you come out of it and you're like, oh, that lands, but it only lands the next time you're in that situation,
Okay. Yeah. Fine.
which is why visualization is really important.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So think about yourself there. When we've been going through this, have you been thinking about a specific client or a
Yeah.
specific scenario situation?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the way the brain works.
Yeah.
We find reference pictures all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So that's level one. All
Nice.
right. And it's easy. It's super simple. It's like I said to you, I think I said it to you in the WhatsApp. From level one to level two, wall drills, okay, general preparatory exercises, they their what did I say? Their influence becomes diminished
Okay.
because there's only so much skill learning you can do, which is why having our levels of intensification and specialization are really important. Because you can only do a certain amount of yielding ISOs with a healthy athlete before it, stops working. And that's
Yeah.
why conjugate sequencing is really important. So what we can do is we then start to use them as potentiators or contrast methods
Yeah.
or supplementary like local muscle endurance methods.
Yeah.
So you would, from phase two, actually, they've done all this work underneath. So they know they could do some wall drills in the warm-ups. Great. Before you actually move into your resisted work, your speed work, or whatever you're
Hmm.
running. And then part two of the workout. So that from they've gone from this part of the rehab phase from developmental stimulus to then a supporting stimulus.
Okay.
So what you would do is the same relationship. You know, like if you do a bench press session, you're going to train your triceps secondary.
Yeah.
You wouldn't pre-fatigue your triceps before doing max effort bench.
No.
So you shouldn't pre-fatigue your hip extensors before you do acceleration.
Gotcha. So you do the acceleration, then use them afterwards as a. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
you can load them up, and like for many exercises, for many athletes as well. Like I would do heavy if they've got like a flywheel or they've got a band, or if they don't have any like equipment, I would do an acceleration session, would finish with like horizontal jumps and bounds, and then they would do 30 to 60 seconds of single leg load and smash for local muscle endurance.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah. 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 Nice.
Yeah. So you can do lactic dips with them.
Okay. Okay.
And that's a really good rehab intervention
Yeah. That's great.
because when you're pushing the tissue tolerance,
Yeah. But it's in a fairly
you
safe zone as well. So that's really cool.
a-
I like it.
absolutely. So can you see how things shift as we move across?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is why the systems, and that's phase one to phase two, and I think there's so much that you should be able to go on with that.
Yes. Yeah.
Make
That's
sense?
great. That's great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
brilliant. So hopefully you should see what in your head you're starting to see how you can restructure some workouts with
Yeah.
clients, and
Yeah.
what I would love is actually a great segue is I'd love